let's talk about them. All right, so I can't remember how not to make these fuzzy. Anyone ever see this question before?
A lot.
A lot, yes. And so I thought maybe Miss Paulette, you can sort of explain why we see this while people are thinking how to turn this off, if they even want it off, or why if it should even be off.
I generally have never turned the bleed off on my print then cut. The way she has this set up, it's going to cut every letter and her flowers, and the bleed makes it the color go just over the edge of the cut line, so that when it is cut, you've got color all the way to the edge, and there's no little white slivers there, as some programs or cutters end up with. And that makes it look blurry because the bleed is going over the edge of every single cut line for every letter.
Yes, every time I see this, I really think to myself, they really didn't intend for the cutter to even cut those words out individually. Would you agree with that statement as well?
I would.
Yes. So I'm going to show you a couple things with this. So back in Design Space, I'm just going to add some text here. To me from Santa, right? Okay. If we change this to a print, right? So how can we change this to a print? Because right now it's a cut, right?
Right.
Okay. So can I do this and just change it to a print, and that will work? Okay. And let me see something here. Okay. So that looks kind of blurry to me. I really meant for this to like go on a tag or something. I think that's what I'd probably use this for. Is that what you guys would use it for? Pretend this is a tag. And if I have it just like this, and I change this one to a print as well, and I click go. Oh, I got to reduce the size. But Paulette, I got 11.5 by 11.5 matte. Why can't I use most of it?
Because each browser and the iPad app or the iOS app have different dimensions that they can cut using print and cut. There's got to be room for the registration marks, and right now you've got your little image there that tells you that Google Chrome, you can only be 5.5 by 8 inches. I don't know what browser you're using. I should be able to tell that. But
yeah, I'm using Google Chrome. And so
even though you got an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or you may have a printer that will print 12 by 12, Design Space can't do that. You're limited to the dimensions that you see depending on your browser. So for you, you've got to make it less than 5.5 inches by 8 inches.
Gotcha. All right. So if that wasn't new to you guys, good job. But if that was new to you, this is a little image I made that will remind you of what browsers support what size. Okay. So if you ever get that little error message that you saw on my screen at the top, you can always go to this. Now this is going to be in the classroom that you guys signed up for. Okay. So all these images, graphics, this presentation will be in the class for you guys to reference. Okay. All right. So that is true. That is true. So basically I need to reduce the size of that. Let me go ahead and send this to the back. So really, you probably would not want to have like a black square that eats up a lot of ink. But anyways, if I click go now, am I good to go? Oh, darn. Gosh. Paulette, I'm so new to this. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Has anyone ever had this problem before in the chat? Miss Elizabeth, you ever had this problem? I clearly I put this right on top of it,
You
and
did.
I can't. I just don't understand. I click go, and oh, flatten. So if I flatten, okay. So let's see if I flatten. Flattens over here in the layers panel, and I click that. Ooh, my layers. What happened to my layers, Miss Paulette? They're like all gone.
It went into a flattened set.
Oh,
It
so
took all of the layers, collapse them into one printable image.
okay. Now, how do I get it back to so I can like move something around?
You can unflatten it.
Ooh, so I can click that and unflatten. Ooh, so it's reversible. I like it. Okay, so now different scenario. I had these as cut files originally.
Well, Rob, let me interrupt for just
Yeah,
a
go
second.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't know how many people are actually newbies and didn't know, but when you were first trying to do it and you went and changed the icon to a
Yep.
printer, you
Uh-huh.
don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Once you have your shape and your text or your image and your card or whatever it is, select it all, flatten it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to show you. So,
Oh, okay.
so
Sorry.
yes. So you can see I have these little scissor icons right here. I have this one right here. And if I selected everything just like Miss Paulette said, I can go ahead and click on the flatten button and look what happened. They all turned to print. Now, if I select this again and I go to unflatten, they stay as prints. So keep that in mind. When you unflatten, they go back to normal. I mean, they go back to unflattened, but they're prints, okay? So now if I flatten it and I go ahead and click on go, at this point, you see this, my text is no longer blurry. Ooh, and that's because I have an outer shape here sort of protecting that part, okay? So that is how that worked. All right, now what about, let's see, I think that about covers that one. So, so Miss Jeanette, you got 1 point, 1 point. Good job, Miss Jeanette. All right. Anything else to bring up on this, Paulette or Michelle?
Well, just one other thing, that if you go back to where you had the problem with the bridesmaid, will you be my bridesmaid, and you were showing it?
Bridesmaid.
Yeah, the one with the flowers for this, the problem for this. Just go back in your.
I'll go on the PowerPoint show. That's what you're saying.
That one.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to do thank you for being my bridesmaid, and a lot of people will duplicate that on their design canvas, and then when they press go, Design Space is saying what the heck and trying to process every little bit of that information. So it's best if you do one on your design canvas and press go, and when you get to that preview screen, you can tell it how many you want.
Yeah. So
one, and then it duplicates that instead of reading 15.
Yeah. So what she's saying is, do not do, if you need this on, if you're doing multiple tags, for example, if you do copy and then you're doing paste and then you're doing paste, you're doing it wrong, right?
Well, it's not necessarily wrong, but with the limitations of Design Space and Flash, because Flash will time out while Design Space is trying to read all the information, and you're going to get the shockwave error or the long-running script error. And if you go to the preview screen with only one and then do project copies, Design Space only has to read one of your design and then duplicate that.
Yes. So there you go. See, project copies 4. You can increase it to whatever you want. And now you will be able to print, then cut this. So, all right. I always wondered why it was better to do it that way instead of duplicate. Good to know. Miss Elizabeth said that to you, Miss Paulette. So there you go. Lots of good info. Okay. So any other things with this? Are we all good? Okay, moving on.